Hello, hello, my lovelies. Today we have a book haul, and it is a big one. Hence my face in the thumbnail, because I didn't really expect to find this many books, because my local Goodwill hasn't really had a lot of books, or my other thrift stores haven't really had a lot of books I'm interested in. So when I went to the new one that opened up a little while ago in my small town, I looked and I found actually quite a bit of these books there, and I was pleasantly surprised. Also found this really cute fedora I'm wearing today there, and I only got it for $2. I'm loving it, okay? I based my entire outfit around this hat. So, yeah, we're gonna get into the books. Without any further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's just jump into it. Roll the intro. Welcome back. Now, we're going to just jump into the first book I found. I found this actually at a game store. I went to buy me a new D&D Player's Handbook because I lost my old one. So I went and bought a new one, and I found this manga version of Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. If you're not familiar with the tale of Frankenstein, it surrounds the tale of Victor Frankenstein, how he created his monster, who actually doesn't have a name. I know most people refer to the monster as Frankenstein, but this is one of the greatest sci-fi works. I think this is like one of the first, if not the first, sci-fi work of all time. Very groundbreaking book, blah, 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 and you think I read, which involves words. I can't hardly speak them correctly. But yeah, this is so cool. The art style is really reminiscent of, I forgot what it is, but it reminds me of like those older like anime type cartoons. That's just an example of the art inside of it. It is really cool. And that is our first book. Our second book I got in a book haul. The first one I got in a recent book haul, which was The Dark Hills Divide. I got this one in a recent book haul, I think last month. Well, I was lucky enough to find the second one. This is Beyond the Valley of Thorns by Patrick Carman. This was a series that was a thing when I was a kid, and so I've been trying to find books I read when I was a kid so I can reread them and kind of see how they hold up, also for nostalgic purposes. But yeah, I was glad when I found The Dark Hills Divide. So when I found Beyond the Valley of Thorns, which I actually never got a chance to read, my school library, when I was like obsessed with these, they didn't really have a whole lot of these books. They had the first one, then I think they had like, I think the fifth one or the fourth one. So I never really got to read all of them. So I'm really excited to read them like all in order, if I can find them all in order. So yeah, I am really excited about that one. I'm going to read you the back. Alexa Daly thought her troubles were over when she defeated the man who had threatened to bring down Bridewell from within. But now the walls around her land have fallen. A new, unexpected threat has risen from the outside. Suddenly, Alexa is involved in a battle much, much larger than her own life, a battle in which she is destined to play a key role. Sinister forces are gathering in a strange and vile forms, all with the goal of bringing the darkness to the land. In order to help the good defeat evil, Alexa and her friends must venture further into where they've gone before, confronting giants, bats, ravenous dogs, and a particularly ghoulish mastermind in order to bring back peace. Our third book, oh my god, this one is so nostalgic for me because I was obsessed with this author, and I literally read like everything by them. It is by Ridley Pearson, who is also, if you haven't been familiar with my book videos on this channel, I'm also like obsessed with Ridley Pearson's books, The Kingdom Keepers, and I've been trying to recollect those, but I found another one of his books. This is Peter and the Starcatchers. Yes, it is a Peter Pan retelling. I have been looking for these. I used to own these in hardback, but I donated them a while ago because I never thought I'd like have to reread them because I read them so much as a kid. So this is another one of those great series that I really loved. I'm going to read the back for you. In an evocative and fast-paced adventure on the high seas on a faraway island, an orphan boy named Peter and his mysterious new friend Molly overcome bands of pirates and thieves in their quest to keep a fantastical secret safe from the world from evil. Best-selling authors Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson have turned back the clock to reveal the wonderful story that precedes J.M. Barrie's beloved Peter Pan. Peter and the Starcatchers is brimming with a richly developed characters from the story and somehow familiar Black Stash and ferocious Mr. Grin to the sweet but sophisticated Molly and the fearless Peter. Page after page of riveting adventures take readers of all ages on a voyage from a filthy, crime-ridden port in Old England across the turbulent sea. Aboard the Neverland is a trunk that holds the greatest treasure on earth, but is it gold, jewels, or something far more mysterious and dangerous? Roiling waves and raging storms, skullduggery and pirate treachery provide the backdrop for battles at sea. Bone-crushing breakers eventually land our characters on Mollusk Island, where the action really heats up. This impossible-to-put-down tale puts readers in an unfortunate journey, fraught with danger, yet filled with mystical and magical moments. So that is Peter and the Starcatchers. Here is the cover art for you. Oh gosh, what is with these glossy covers on these like newer paperbacks? I think this is like a newer like reprint of the paperback. Because damn, that is glossy. It is glossy. But yeah, that's Peter and the Starcatchers. Our next book is a book that I've never heard of before, so if you've heard of this series, I seen the cover, and it kind of drew me in and made me interested, if you know what I mean. This is Revenge of the Shadow King by Derek Benz and J.S. Lewis. It is part of a series called Grey Griffins Book 1. I've never seen this before, so if you have seen this before, please let me know. I have never heard of this, but it looked really interesting to me. Especially since Jenny Nimmo, who wrote the Charlie Bone series, which was another series I was just unholingly obsessed with as a child, she thought this was a good book, so I was like, hey, if Jenny Nimmo liked it, maybe I'll like this. So I'm going to read the back. Max Summer and his 3 friends, Harley, Ernie, and Natalia, formed the secret club known as the Grey Griffins. Seem to be the only people in their normal Minnesota town to notice the strange things that have started to happen. When creatures like goblins, fairies, and unicorns, all characters from a card game the Grey Griffins play, begin to make appearances in Max's backyard, Max and his friends know something is terribly wrong, and it's up to them to stop the wicked creatures of the cards from devastating their town or the world. A thrilling new legend is born in the first book of the Grey Griffins' magical adventures. This was published first in 2006. So, yeah, if you've heard of this series, please let me know your thoughts, because I would love to know what you thought of this, and if it would be worth reading, because I'm still going to read it, but I like to know if they've, like, read this or not. So, yeah, that's our... Which one is this? 4th or 5th? I don't know. Our next book is more of like a historical book. This is The Royal Art of Poison. It basically tells you about, why so many kings and queens of old were, so deathly afraid of poison, and, why poison was such a huge, influence and a fear and a more common method of unaliving back in the royal times, where they had to have taste testers to test for poison. I mean, it was such a bad thing that they had to have people test the food, that poison was so prevalent in those days. So that is what this book is about. I just picked it up because I found it kind of interesting, because I like history stuff as well. So, yeah. Not going to dwell too much on this one. I just thought it was interesting. It's by Eleanor Herman, if you want to read it. So, yeah. Let me preface this next read by, if you guys are, like, familiar with my channel, you know I love Inkheart. It's a book about a girl that is able to step into her favorite book world, and, well, her dad's favorite book world. But it's that whole premise of people being able to journey into their favorite obscure books. I love that whole thing. I'm a sucker for it. Like Blue Skidoo, I can too. Jump into the painting. Well, if I could jump into a book, I would. It would be Harry Potter, probably. That or Twilight. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's make that today's question. If you could live in a one-book world, if you had the choice to live in one book world, what would it be and why? Yeah, let's make that today's book question. What book world would you live in and why, if you had the chance? All right, so with all that out of the way, this is The Book of Living Secrets by Madeline Rowe. This book I seen on the shelf at Walmart. I think this is the only book out of all of them I paid full price for. But I seen this, I seen the cover. It was really interesting. And so I read the back of it and I was like, ooh, that sounds really cool. So I'm going to read what drew me to this book. I am so sorry. Adeline and Connie have been friends for years, united by their love of a little-known novel called Moira. Unable to reach Moira's reclusive author, Robin Amory, the girls have to settle for reading the book over and over and over again, dreaming about how much better their lives would be in the world of this romantic fantasy, with its intricate intrigue and excitement. But when the girls are tempted by a mysterious purveyor to enter the world of the book, they hardly suspect that it will actually work. When they find out that the world of the novel is turned upside down, the lavish balls and star-crossed love affairs are now interlaced with unspeakable horrors. The girls realize that something sinister is behind their foray into fiction, and they will have to rewrite their own arcs if they hope to escape this nightmare with their lives. So yeah, that's why that whole premise, I'm in love with that whole premise, that whole, if you could jump into your favorite book and everything kind of be turned on its head. I love that whole idea. Call it a trope, maybe? Maybe it's a trope. I've never read that many books involving that whole thing, except for Inkheart, and now hearing about this one. So, yeah, that is the Book of Living Secrets. I'm really interested to read this one. If you've read this one, I think it's a fairly new release because it was on the shelf at Walmart. So, if you've read this, please let me know. If you've already read this, but I just really think that this is going to be a really good read. So, I will let you guys know about that when I get to it. Because now I have a lot of books to read. I was not expecting to find so many books. That's our last book, by the way. I was not expecting to find so many books that I would be interested in this week. So when I found all these books, I was like, oh, I can do a book haul. Yay! But now I have a lot of books on my TBR. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you feel like it, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons maybe. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers. I would be much appreciated if you guys would just hit the button for shits and gigs. I talk about books, I talk about movies, internet drama. I have a large array of content. I'm also a cosplayer, if you couldn't tell by all the props, so I do also a cosplay series that is slowly coming out. I don't really have that much time to think up all this stuff to help other cosplayers because I'm still an amateur myself, so yeah. But that series is still coming out. It's just that it's slow going, so it's hard to find a day when to do it, so. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy reading.